Hey, what's up, guys? How you doing today? I hope you're having a fabulous and fantastic day today. In this video, I'm going to share with you 3 reasons why traditional methods of wealth building don't work. That's what I'm going to share with you in this video today. If this is your first time joining me, my name is Alex. I'm a financial coach, and I help people just like you create more financial freedom and more wealth so they can live the life that they truly want and be able to leave a legacy for their family. So if this is something that sounds interesting to you and you enjoy this type of information, please consider liking and subscribing to my channel and sharing this video. So today, guys, I want to share with you some issues or challenges that come along with trying to use the traditional method or the traditional methods of building wealth so you can finally be able to retire and live the good life and the golden life, right? So let me just say, what are the traditional wealth building methods? Well, originally it was set up to have what experts called the three-legged stool. The three-legged stool. And the idea behind that is that you would have three sources of income that would support you for your life. Okay. So obviously, you would work in this case for 40 plus years. This traditional methods now. You would work for 40 or 40 plus years. And then after that, you would receive a pension from your company, meaning the company will take care of you in your retirement years. Okay. You would secondly be able to get you will be able to get a stream of income from Social Security. Okay, so that was the second stool. That was the second leg. And then in 1980s around, they created the 401k plan. And so the 401k plan was designed for you to be able to make contributions to your retirement. And then that money would be put into an account, it would be invested. And then once you retire or reach retirement age, 59 and a half or older, then you would be able to start drawing some of that money from your 401k. So those are the three traditional methods, okay, of building wealth. So today I'm going to share with you a little bit of why these methods obviously do not work in today's time in today's economy, and I'm going to share with you some things that you may want to consider doing in order to build wealth. All right, so you definitely want to stay tuned all the way to the end. So let's first of all let's look at savings. Okay, I talked about I failed to mention savings. Savings is the traditional way where what do? We get paid and we put our money in the bank. We put our money in savings. And we've always been told, right? You've heard it said, a penny saved is a penny earned. Well, it's not quite true. So what they want you to do is they want you to work, you get your check, and then you deposit it into the bank. And that's where you save your money. Well, what's the problem with savings? We know saving money today is equivalent to losing money. We know today banks pay zero to very little interest on your savings account. Doesn't matter how much it used to be. If you had a good sum of money, 100,000, 150,000, they'll pay you a pretty good return on that money, but not today. Really, savings accounts pay you nothing. And the little bit that they do pay, which might be what, 0.6%. All right, we're talking about less than 1%. Well, when you factor in inflation, with inflation being 7.5, 8, and 8.5%, then that means if you get, even if you were able to find 1% interest from a bank, which nobody's paying that, but if you were, inflation would just take back 8.5% from you. So in essence, you are actually negative 7.5%. See how that works? So inflation is that silent killer that takes away from the value of your money, and it takes away from your wealth building potential silently, because as the prices increase, as the general increase in prices happen, as inflation happens, it's stealing the value of your dollars. So savings accounts don't work. Okay, you cannot save your way to wealth. It's not possible. All right, so that's number one. Let's look at Social Security. Social Security number two. Social Security, the program is designed for you to work for a certain number of periods, okay? A certain number of periods or a certain number of years. And you would actually be taxed what's called Social Security, FICA and FUTA, those two, them two people that's on your check, right? When you pay into Social Security, that money is actually going out and paying the other people who are actually receiving Social Security right now. So the promise and the idea is when you reach retirement age, you are going to be able to receive some of the money that other people are paying into the system at that time. Well, we know, first of all, right now, full retirement age from Social Security is 67 years old. 60, you have to get to 67 years old before you can actually reach full retirement age from a Social Security standpoint. All right. Let's assume that you reach the age of 67. Once you get there and once you get full retirement, you are only going to receive 40% of what you were making during your earning years. That's the reason why I call it the 40-40-40 club. What's the 40-40 club? It's where you work 40 hours a week for 40 years only to retire on 40% of your income in Social Security. That's the 40-40-40 club. And that's why I'm always trying to share information with you so you are not a part of that club. So that doesn't happen to you. And that's my mission. So the reason why Social Security is a problem or an issue is because unless you are able to live off 40% of your pre-retirement income, it's going to be very difficult for you to live in retirement. Quick story: I went to pick up some medicines for my mother a few months ago, and I remember going into the pharmacy and I was hearing the pharmacist talk about how much this couple was going to have to pay to receive their monthly supply of medicines, and it was over $600. And at that moment, it just became so much more important that I share this information with people, because getting older, just because you're getting older, doesn't necessarily mean that your cost of living is going to go down. In fact, it usually means that healthcare costs and medicines go up, while other expenses like, maybe you don't have a mortgage anymore, then guess what? That money is now not being sent to your bank, but it's going to the pharmacist, right? To help pay for your meds, your medications, and your health care. And so Social Security, if you don't have anything saved, if you haven't built up assets that can help to fund your lifestyle in retirement, then you're going to have to rely on Social Security. And the other part of the issue with Social Security is with taxes, with government spending being the way that it is, with tax revenue also going down, right? Is putting a stress and strain on the Social Security program. Plus, there are some people within the political system who would actually like to get rid of Social Security. So, There are a few things that are likely to happen between now and the time that you and I retire. Chances are that 67 full retirement age is probably going to go up to more like 70 or 72. The amount of Social Security that you receive, right, is probably going to go down as well, or it's not going to be increasing or going up with the cost of inflation. So that is the challenge with Social Security. And then finally, let's get to 401ks, 401k program. Well, Eric Bana, that was the gentleman that actually created the 401k program. And he has actually said that the way that the system is working and the way that the system has an over reliance on 401k program as the main way people save for retirement, it was never built for that. It was only supposed to be a part of the three-legged stool, which was pensions, Social Security, and the 401k program. Well, once companies realized that they were able to introduce a 401k program, right, and make you contribute to your retirement, they got rid of pensions. So now you only have 401k and Social Security. So now your three-legged stool is down to a two-legged stool. And I just talked about Social Security being unstable and not a good source for you to be able to live on in retirement, live on fully in retirement. So you're really only down to the 401k program. Let's look at the 401k. 401k is a employer sponsored retirement savings program. You, the employee, put money into the 401k. Sometimes your employer will match some of your contributions. That money will then be put into the stock market and invested over your working years. So once you reach 59 and a half or 60, you'll be able to access those funds. That's how it works. 401k is a deferred, tax deferred program, which means when you contribute your money to the 401k program now, right, you don't pay tax on those contributions. But I said it's a tax deferred account, which means you will have to pay tax on it. So once you reach 60 years old, right, and you're able to start drawing from your 401k program, that's when you'll actually be taxed on the monies that you withdraw. So you can pay now or you can pay later, but the government is going to try to make you pay. Okay? And so the 401k says, hey, you can contribute, you can write it off of your taxes now, but later down the road, once it grows, all of the money that you contributed and all of the growth that you got on that money, guess what? You're going to pay taxes on all of that. That is a problem. Let me show you how much of a problem it is. Let's assume that you had the forethought and the wherewithal to start investing in your company's 401k program at 25, at age 25. If you invested up until you were 64, okay, so you're looking at 39 years, okay, from 25 to 64. If you look at that and you had the median income, I know, I just stay with me, guys. I know I'm throwing around a lot of numbers, but let's say that from age 25 to 45, you made an average of $61,000 from '01 to 2021 over those 20 years. Okay. If that were you, then by the time you reached 64, you would have $1.6 million in your 401k program. However, here's the problem. You haven't paid tax on any of that money. So now Uncle Sam wants you to pay your share of taxes. So that 1.6 million that you had, now you're going to pay at least $400,000 in taxes. So now you are down to 1.2 million. Again, you have to keep in mind you would have had to start at age 25 and you would have to contribute to the 401k program all the way up until you were 64 in order to make this happen. And the reason why this is a challenge or a problem is because most people don't start contributing 10% of their income immediately at age 25. That's part of the challenge. And most people don't continue contributing 10% of their income all the way through retirement. So that's where 401k becomes a problem, because you have to make sure you have been contributing, making the required amount of contributions to the account in order for it to work for you. Okay. And finally, here's the biggest challenge with the 401k program. The biggest challenge is any monies that you have invested into your 401k, that money is usually invested in the stock market, which now means that your money is subject to market loss. So let's say, for instance, this year you were 64 and you were ready to retire. What has happened to the stock market within the last 7 to 8 months? Yes, it has gone down. It's gone down drastically, and it's still going down, and it's going to be volatile over the next few years. So, if you were looking to retire today, let's say that you were age 64 and you were going to retire today, guess what? Your portfolio is now down roughly 15, 20, 22%. Now, keep in mind that 1.6 million I said that you had originally. Now, guess what? You're down another $400,000. So that 1.6 is really now 800,000 is what you have left. That's the danger associated with having all of your retirement income invested in your 401k program. So, I know you guys may be thinking, let me share with you a few reasons or a few things that you can do in order, right, to make sure that you don't find yourself in a bad spot. First of all, you have to remember and you have to understand the traditional approach to building wealth isn't about helping you build wealth. It's about helping them build wealth. Who am I talking about? I'm talking about the 10%. I'm talking about the 1%. I'm talking about Wall Street. I'm talking about big company executives. I'm talking about banks. I'm talking about other people who are telling you these are the things that you must do in order to build wealth, but secretly, it's only to line their pockets. Because stock people, banks, companies and corporations, they're the ones who are benefiting from each one savings accounts. They don't benefit you because they're not paying you any return. They're benefiting the banks because the banks are using your money to make money. All right. The 401k money that you invest with your employer, where is that going? That is going into the stock market. So the people who run the funds, the people who run the investment funds and the pension funds and the hedge funds, they're using your money to make money, and they're charging you fees on top of that. Okay? So what do you want to do? Number 1, you want to first of all eliminate the possibility of loss. Okay? Warren Buffett said, rule number 1, the first rule of investing is you never lose money. Rule number 2 from Warren Buffett, he says, never forget rule number 1. Those are the 2 things that Warren Buffett said. Never lose money. And if you forget, rule number 2, go back. Never lose money. Never forget that. So you want to eliminate the possibility of losing money in the stock market. That's number 1. Number 2, you want to make sure that you eliminate or at a minimum reduce taxes. Now, which of these investments allow you to reduce taxes? If you make money in the stock market with your 401k, guess what? You're going to have to pay money on that with your 401k. If you have money invested in an IRA, so you want to make sure that you find a way to invest your money that eliminates taxes. That's number 2. And then number three, you want to make sure that during your accumulation or your contribution phase, right? You want to make sure that you still have control or access to your funds. With the 401k and IRA, you have to make sure that the money stays in until you reach 59 and a half or older. If you do not, you're going to be charged a 10% penalty. Plus, you're going to have to pay taxes on whatever you pull out. So, you want to make sure that you put your money in a place where you can invest it and yet still have access to it if you see an opportunity that's going to allow you to get even greater gain on your money. See, the way wealthy people get wealthy is they're always looking for an opportunity to use their dollars and to get a higher return on their money. They're looking for the highest and best use of their dollars. And what we tend to do is we will give it to a bank, we'll give it to a 401k or some other investors. We'll allow them to make money, and yet we don't have access to it. We're not being paid interest on it, and we can't get access to it until we're 59 and a half. Still maintain control and access to that money if you want to invest in something else. And you want to know how that is? It's actually by using a well structured life insurance. Tax-free growth, how you